let's see who shows up on this. Regardless if people show up or not, I'm just gonna start talking. So you guys know I get stuff that comes in all the time, various different makers, different types of knives, and rarely do I get one that I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking horrible. So by far right now, this knife is one of the worst when it comes to a combination of issues. So, and I'm not trying to knock the maker. It's a well-built knife and things like that. But this is that Richards, what is it? The Richards, Counselor 2. The Richards Counselor 2 that a guy named Joe's Blades on Instagram sent me. And I'm trying to get this edge done, but I'm gonna have to take a break. Like, my hands hurt. So what's up, Jack? So, you know, I talked about I had done the pocket clip and the refinish on the scales. And then I sat down to sharpen this, and I don't know what this guy did when he made this knife. This is by far one of the worst edges I've come across in a long time. Enough to make me go, holy crap, let me do this on a live feed. So, first issue is this knife is super thick behind the edge. Yeah, something's going on with notifications. Anyway, so this thing is super thick behind the edge, and I'm trying to account for thickness. And as I start to account for thickness, I realize this grind is just all over the place. Like, this edge is everywhere, to the point where I believe that I'm gonna try and take this up to the shop. And I mean, here, let's turn you around. Let's go. I'll get behind the camera and I'll turn you around and we'll look at it real quick. So, I mean, workbench is fairly clean, so I don't have to do a lot. So let me tip you down here. So I'm not even touching anything there, right? And that tip is completely not touching, but you can see I haven't even apexed this yet. That is still the original grind. It was so thick. And then on this side, you can see that it's apexing here, but then it is fucking... Hold steady and focus. So it's not touching there. And then when you get down here, look at that. So here comes my scratch pattern. It's horrible. And I'm going to have to talk to the customer because, to tell you the truth, I don't think I'm ever going to be happy with this the way it is. Like, look at that. That's not even close to apexed there. Really low spot there. And then it apexes again here. And then it stops. You can't even touch that. So even when I'm bringing it up the same angle, that's just not touching. So, yeah, you can see it. So I have to take all that material off. Guys, I don't think I'm going to... Hang on a second. Now, I do know he paid me extra. He paid me more. But the fact is, let's get back around here. I don't think... this is one of those ones I don't think I can do it by hand. I think I'm going to have to take it to the shop and take the blade out, take this thing apart again, take the blade out. I'm going to have to knock that entire area there out. I mean, he had an opportunity. See how it's cut there, that V? Opportunity to do a proper sharpening notch like Sebenza. Prime opportunity available there. That's what it looks like it could have been intended to be, but then it was just, wow. And then it is ground so asymmetrically on the edge. It's I don't like to just, I'm not trying to throw the maker under the bus or anything because I don't like doing that. But honestly, I think this has got to be the worst edge I've seen on a knife to date. I've seen some pretty bad edges, and this one is, and like I said, that's 20 minutes of me correcting. That's 20 minutes of me going to town on this and having washed my plate off twice and it's still covered with steel. Yeah, I think this one's going back in its case until I talk to the owner. Because there's just, there reaches a point where I will realize that there's just, like, I've tried all the little tricks. I was using this plate, and I was like, well, maybe it's just that I can't get the angle to get down into the heel. So I was using the really coarse diamond, and I still wasn't getting anywhere with it. And I was like, The blade stock is thick. The grind does not have much in the way of, I mean, look how much flat there's left on there. It's pretty much a saber grind. So it's saber ground, it's really thick material, it's really thick behind the edge. Don't get me wrong, I get it. I've ground knives, and it gets to a point you're like, man, do I need to thin this out? Can I just account for this by putting an edge on it? Most of the time, I'm gonna say no. I don't like to have thick blade stock, super thick blade. I like to have a little bit of material, but this is, man, guys, this is so thick. And even with me thinning it, it's still really thick. I wish, I mean, let me see, can I get it in and show you? Here, hang on, let me turn the camera around. Maybe I can, can't see my buttons. God damn it. This is, there it is. Let me see, can I turn this? Can you guys see how incredibly thick? Look at that, look how thick that is. That edge, that whole edge is that thick. So, guys, he paid me extra, and what we had talked about doing was, since he had overpaid me by accident, that we were gonna leave it on credit. And the fact is that if I do this by hand, he's not gonna have any money left on credit for him to send me other things, because he accidentally double paid. And then I was like, you know, you paid twice. And I told him, I was like, he was like, well, how about we just leave it and then I can have you do some other stuff. I don't like doing stuff like that, but I also know I need the money now and I can always do the work later. But yeah, no, that's unacceptable. Unacceptable. I'm almost tempted to contact the maker and say, look, dude, you need to take a good look at how you sharpen these, because the edge that was on it, it's not usable. The edge I'm putting on it at the moment, it hasn't even apexed. It's gonna have spots where, this is one of those ones where the bevel is gonna go thin, wide, because just the blade is not completely true. I'm debating on what to tell the owner. So, I did some other sharpening already, but it's hard to, you know, at what point do I say, okay, yeah, I know you overpaid, but it's not fair to you, because basically we're gonna burn up all of his money that he double paid. So, don't know. So, what do you guys think? What do you think I should do? Let me see. Have I got live chat set up, or have I got it set? Nope, it's set for top chat. Sorry, guys. Oh, hey, Nico's here. Wise Before Knives Smith. Yeah. I did, however, get this one done. Fuck is that? I get this one done all the way to 10,000. Well, I didn't intend to do 2 videos, but I stumbled onto this when I started sharpening it. I got some other stuff done. I had an idea. Check this out. Who's the maker of a knife you're sharpening? It's, let's see, Chuck Richards. Chuck Richards Counselor 2, 2.0. And I'm not saying it's not a badly built knife, but there's so many things about this that I just don't like. I like a little bit of weight forward, really, really too much weight forward. The blade sweeps up from the handle, so it comes down and then it sweeps up, which is not horribly aesthetically unpleasing, but the fact is that it feels awkward in the hand. I'm just not a big fan of it. The thumb stud, I had to screw the thumb stud in real tight and Loctite it, because you could just it was loose. It would just keep coming loose. Had a hard time getting it centered. The lock stick on it was horrible, and I mean, I did some refinish on it, but what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna untape this. I don't like leaving tape on stuff because it leaves adhesive behind. So, and did the pocket clip, but yeah, I can't justify keeping. Yeah, it was taped to protect that. I had polished and heat colored the pocket clip. Now, I will show you something. I had an idea. So while we were at Costco yesterday, my wife's boss loves these Pepperidge Farms Milano cookies. Well, they have big tubs of them at Costco, big tub of them. And I was like, wow, I wonder, she's like, yeah, I just bought some for her the other day. She's like, I bought her 2. And I was like, I wonder if she still has the tubs. Because I was thinking, I can use this tub. Now, I know I have other tubs, but hear me out on this. I'm gonna try and make a little mesh table that sits down in here so that the stones are off of the bottom. And when I put a stone in that's dirty, like these are, as you can see, I'm already starting to get some stuff on the bottom here. And then that winds up on the other stones. If I lay the stones out and I wipe them, and then that stuff can settle down to the bottom. And then I'm not having to deal with so much grit and nastiness right at the same level of my stones, and I might not have to do it, and it might keep me from getting some grit contamination, because this is my wash-off basin, but there's always a little bit that comes across back into the clean water. So this would be my clean water, so it'd be like a secondary catch. It would be like having 3 tubs that only takes up the space of 2. So, because yeah, these so, and it's all, you can see the nasty stuff that's on them, that black gunk that's now all over my bench that I just cleaned. And it's not so much that I care about how much water and stuff I'm using. I don't use that much water that it's affecting my water bill. But what I was thinking of was the fact that taking time to pull the stones out, clean them, put them in a different pan, take them in the house and clean them, clean out the pan, and then stuff like that. And that winds up being, a few minute evolution every time. So, yeah, Mr. Richards, I like them a lot, because the big thing is, I don't like the way diamond stones feel. These don't feel like diamond stones. These just feel like, they feel like an Edge Pro stone or a Chaucera stone. So it's not like this. This feels like a diamond, and I don't like the way it feels, but I know it's a necessary evil, because I have to reprofile stuff, and I would much rather do it on this than fucking up stones. But they cut quick, they cut clean and consistent. They don't load up as quick as other stones, and they don't unbind and just come up. So the coarser ones, yeah, they still come apart, but it's not like they dish out like an aluminum oxide. I still use the aluminum oxides for stuff. I still like the aluminum oxides, especially for S90V. I feel I get a crisper edge. How do you clean them? In between, hang on. So while I'm using them, I've got a little soft bristled brush, like a little horsehair brush, and I'll just take the stone and I'll wipe down the nastiness and then rinse it off in my rinse basin and then put it back. When I have to, you don't really clean them. I've taken like, so you can see that they look like they start to fill up a little bit. You can kind of clean some of that out with your brush, but Comet, I take Comet, like scrub powder, and I'll put it on this brush, and I'll scrub it, and it lifts some of that out, almost like it would on a ceramic stone. But there's not really much cleaning to it. They just get dirty, but they still cut, and then when it's time to refinish them, I've got the abrasive powder that you put on I do it just like an Edge Pro stone. I have the glass plate, I put the abrasive down, and you go, maybe once every, if I'm sharpening a lot, I might do it every 3 or 4 days. but you're not taking very much material off of these. They're really hard. And so there's all kinds of stuff. There's a really fine abrasive for the finer stones. There's a really coarse abrasive that looks like beach sand that you use for the coarse stones. And then there's another whole tub of silica carbide powder here that's in a medium grit that you can use to, like if I dish out one of those stones or I get a deep scratch in it. Yeah, people say that, but I've never had it come out. I've put them in the dishwasher and they don't come out clean, and then I'm afraid they're gonna break. There's some silica dioxide, or aluminum oxide, silicon carbide. There's no silicon oxide, silica carbide. There's a silica carbide that I use, and then there's just some really coarse beach sand. Looks like quartz. So, I mean, it just, depending on the stone. So, it just depends on the stone you use. And I just put some of that powder on the plate and lap them out flat. I will use the coarser stuff on the finer stones if there's like big cuts and chips and stuff there. No, it's not. The Spyderco Diamond, or the Spyderco ceramics are not aluminum oxide. They are a synthetic sapphire. The fine and ultrafine are anyway. I don't know. I don't use the other ones, but they're the Spyderco stones are a baked clay ceramic that turns into just like the same as like the same thing you'd make the actual china out of. It's a ceramic like that, and when you bake it, it turns into basically a synthetic sapphire. So it's the second hardest shit in the world. It's like second only to diamonds. So, but the whole thing is I've broken the diamond stone or the Spyderco stones. I'm gonna go inside out of the sun for a minute. My wife's on her way home. They break real easy. So if you happen to put them in the dishwasher, I'm sorry, I get my hand over them. If you put them in a dishwasher and they bang up against something, they break. But no, that was it. I just wanted to address that, you guys, while I was working on that. Now I got to call that customer and let him know, hey, I got to figure something out for this knife. So I'm gonna get off of here. I still want to shoot the video about the Malice sometime today, but I got a couple other things to sharpen first. So yeah, guys, I will end this and talk to you later. Yeah, Aluma. I forget how they list it's Aluma silicate or some shit like that. It's a special kind of, it's like clay. It's Aluma silicate, and then they cut it into chunks, flat chunks, and then they cure it and bake it. So anyway, I'm gonna get off of here. I'm gonna help my wife bring some stuff in, and I'm gonna talk to this customer about this knife because I'm almost at my wit's end with it. So, all right, guys, take it easy, and I will talk to you all later.